Ghanaians should continue to have faith in us. They know it is we who are in government who solve solutions, who solve problems and give solutions. So I believe that if we are able to communicate to Ghanaians and they are able to start seeing their taxes at work, they won't have a problem with paying under 2% of whatever they have sent in a day.
But the question has again been, because you just said that the problem has been with how the money will be used. Ghanaians do not have, or the people, particularly the minority, who are against this E-levy, do not have the confidence in the government that you will use the money judiciously. What's the position of government on this?
Well, I find it laughable to say that the minority doesn't have the confidence for the government to use the money judiciously. I think this government has been commended a lot for judicious spending, looking at the kind of commitment the government has. So if we take the sensationalism out of the argument and we decide to do some critical analysis to look at the facts on the table, what the government has been able to do and what the government plans to do, I believe that there's no question. The question doesn't come up that Ghanaians are not confident in the government.
While commenting on the absence of the Dome Kwabena MP, Sarah Adwoa-Safo, the Deputy Trades Minister, asked the minority to equally extend their support to other MPs who may in the future not attend parliamentary duties due to personal circumstances.
I have not actually spoken to her because my hands are already full. You see, I have a baby's cot here, and I have work. So being back and then trying to get used to the system now, I haven't really been in touch with a lot of people. But the NDC seems to be understanding and accommodating, and I'm hoping that that position they will be consistent with it for everybody else.
To support her.
And I'm only hoping that that position will not be limited to Adwoa alone, and it will be to everybody else who may be in any capacity or situation who cannot be able to show up for certain duties that they are supposed to be.
So you want them to apply the whatever it is fairly to all women, irrespective of...
I want them to apply that rule, that position to everybody. You know, there are times when ministers are supposed to answer questions in Parliament and they are absent for certain reasons, and sometimes the minority are up in arms. So if they understand that people may be going through certain situations, then they should probably apply the rule to everybody else. That's all I mean.
Let's talk educational infrastructure now. And the headmaster of the Bimbilla High School, Bukari Ahmed, has appealed to government to support complete some dormitory structures to help ease the accommodation problems confronting the school. He said there were some projects which had reached appreciable stages of if completed, and which would help the school. Mr. Bukari made the appeal when an old student donated cement to help build a fence wall in the school.
The headmaster of the school raised this concern when the former Northern Regional Minister, Salifu Said, who was also one-time school prefect of the Bimbilla Senior High School, donated 200 bags of cement to help build the school fence. The fence wall has become necessary following encroachment and escaping of students to town. The wall, when built, teachers and students believe would help instill discipline and also control the movement of students. Mr. Abukari said if the project is completed, will help reduce congestion in the school.
But there's serious congestion at our girls' dormitory. There is a one-story building for girls that was started a few years ago. The project has come to a standstill. So we want to use this opportunity to appeal to all who matter in this issue to ensure that the contractor comes back to site finish with the dormitory project so that our girls can live comfortably in the dormitory. We also want to draw attention to the fact that the dormitories that our boys are using is nothing right home about. We need a lot of renovation at that end. The nets, the burglar proofs are all almost gone.
The National Vice President of the All Bimbilla Students Association, Wumbe Zakari, said he would communicate the concerns of the school to the association so that they can seek help to complete the projects.
Able to enhance the construction of the school fence project. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to use this opportunity to appeal to other sons and daughters, both present and past students, to contribute their widow's mite to be able to complete this school. We are aware that the school is faced with several challenges. The challenges of dormitories. Yesterday when we arrived, we paid a courtesy call on the headmaster. In fact, we were told that your dormitories, the mosquitoes enter free and they leave free. They pop in and pop out. Please, we as old students will carry it forward. We'll ask the headmaster to tabulate all the problems so that National Association will handle it. So without wasting much time, I would like, on behalf of my team here, then on behalf of the Honorable Regional Minister, Honorable Salfu Said, I would like to present this.
A student of the school, Al-Hassan Rama, said there is an urgent need for the fence wall.
And then the purpose of them building the wall for us is to increase our discipline in the school and to minimize the walking out of campus, because those in here, it's very hard for you to control a ship when they don't have a place to sit. So as far as the world is concerned, I'm pleading and we are praying hard for them to complete it for us in order to increase the discipline in this school and then moving out of town, because here they take it as a school which has no discipline and those stuff.
Mr. Salfu Said is also supporting the youth of the area with clearing of land for the construction of a football field.
Now, on our next story, former mayor of Kumasi, Kojo Bonsu, has asked for the blessings of the Asantehene in his quest to emerge as the first Ashanti flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress. He told Otumfuo of his desire to increase the fortunes of the opposition party to bring the presidency home to Kumasi after the 2024 election. Kojo Bonsu was at the Manchia Palace for the Akwesidai Festival and to officially announce his intention to run for the NDC's flag bearership slot this year. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko was there and now reports.
The Manchia Palace marked Akwesidai on Sunday with a deba of chiefs. A number of institutions and individuals paid homage to the king, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II. Supported by a number of market queens and party supporters, former mayor of Kumasi, Kojo Bonsu, came before the Asantehene to announce his intention to run for the flag bearer slot of the NDC when nominations are opened.
I'm here today to tell Otumfuo that when the time is due, I will also go and contest for the flag bearership slot of the NDC.
He said no Ashanti has assumed the highest leadership of the NDC before and prayed for Otumfuo's support.
NDC party no.
I'm praying for his support. When he is pouring libation, I'm pleading that he should pray for me so I can go out there and contest and win and bring the presidency to Ashanti region. In fact, no Ashanti has ever held the flag bearership position of the NDC. I want to be the first to do that.
The announcement by Kojo Bonsu drew cheers from the gathering. Two of of the market women later explained to Love News why they support his move.
Kojo Bonsu began building the Kumasi KGTR market. So this is the time to support him. And no Akan has won the presidency from the NDC. That's why President the Ashanti region has been neglected by the party we supported. So if Kojo Bonsu wants to run for the flag bearer for the NDC to bring some development in the region, we will support him.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Well, from Kumasi, meanwhile, separate activities were held in various regional and district capitals across the country as Ghana marked its 65th anniversary under the theme, Working Together, Bouncing Back Better. Here's a Joy News report capturing how events unfolded yesterday.
After 2 years of break due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic, residents of the Bono East Regional Capital, Techiman, witnessed the second ever Regional Independence Day Parade at the Ohinamiao Park. The event, which marked Ghana's 65th Independence Day, saw school children and various security personnel, including the military, police, immigration and officers of the Ghana National Fire Service, marching amidst the regular cheers and jamborees. Regional Minister Kwesi Adujan used the opportunity to urge the people of the region to work harder towards putting the economy back on track after the COVID-19 pandemic.
The theme for this year's celebration is Working Together, Bouncing Back Better. We need to put in more hard work to ensure that the economy bounces back after the devastating period of COVID-19. Hence the theme. The process of bouncing back better must include all sectors of the economy, including agriculture, transportation, the service industry, tourism, energy, banking, and finance, among others.
He again called on the Nananom of the region to remain united towards achieving the purposes for which the region was created.
One significant feature of the history of the Bono East region is that in the face of all trials, difficulties and disagreements, our chiefs and our people have remained united, and so must we continue to do so. This indeed is an achievement we must be very proud of. We must try to maintain this cohesion and refuse to be disintegrated in any form or shape.
Member of the Council of State and Paramount Chief of the Techiman Traditional Council, Osiadeyo Ekunfi Amia IV, cautioned political actors to be objective and desist from issuing statements capable of scaring investors from the region.
On this occasion, I want to use it to also advise our social commentators and then political commentators to reflect over the things that they have been putting in the public domain, because they appear to be scaring investors who want to invest in the country.
This year's celebration in the Northeast region is the third to be held since the creation of the region in 2018. The celebration this morning at the premises of the Nalirgo cluster of schools started with welcoming of guests and other participants to the event grounds. The event, as usual, was attended by heads of institutions, traditional as well as religious leaders, civil society organizations, and members of the general public. Members of the security services in the region, including the police, fire service, immigration, the customs, the ambulance and prison services, and others, were the first to take part in the march, followed by pupils and students of some selected schools within the region. In all, 9 schools, including the Nalirgo Nursing and Midwifery College, took part in today's parade, as they took turns to exhibit their marching skills to the admiration of the regional leaders. The regional minister, in his speech, paid a glowing tribute to the country's founding fathers in honor of their independence struggle. The minister said despite the setbacks Ghana has encountered, the country is still the beacon of democracy amid turbulent times in its neighboring countries. The regional minister praised President Akufo-Addo's led administration for the creation of the region, stating that the objective for the creation was being achieved.
I am happy to state that largely the objective for which the region was created is being achieved. Most of the key regional offices, including feeder roads, urban roads, Ghana Highways Authority, Lands Commission, Devs and Devs, Department of Controller and Accountant General, and many others, have been established and are functioning in the region. Construction works of regional departments at the following locations are at various levels of completion. 1. Administration block of the Northeast Regional Coordinating Council in Alergo is about 90% complete. Administration block of the Ghana Health Service at Gambaga is also at an appreciable level of completion. Administration block of the Ghana Education Service in Waliwale has also reached an advanced stage. Administration block of the Department of Agriculture at Yagba is about 95% complete. Administration block of the Department of Feeder Roads at Bunkurugu is also at near completion. Construction of staff bungalows at the regional capital, almost 98% complete. Groundbreaking ceremonies for the start of 4 district hospitals has begun. We started in Chirponi, Bunkurugu, Yinyo, and Yagba will soon follow. I am aware the contractors have moved to site. Anytime soon, we shall be there to cut sword for them to begin work. Approval has been given for 2 new secondary schools at Yinyo and Nakanduri to start this academic year.
The minister, however, added that despite the massive progress made in the new region, many challenges including poor sanitation, armed robbery, bad road, among others, remain. The minister has therefore called for the support of the residents.
There's no doubt that sanitation in this municipality and across the entire region is not satisfactory. I would like to challenge individual landlords, school authorities, and assemblies to ensure that we change our attitude towards sanitation management in the region, especially open defecation.
The parade was made up of 8 security contingent and 27 voluntary organizations and schools. At display were various cultural troops to entreat people to the tradition of the region. Speaking at the 65th Independence Day celebration in Tamale, the minister called for a mutual trust between security agencies and the citizenry so that law and order can prevail. He said the breakdown of law and order is not in the interest of anyone.
The breakdown of law and order is not in anyone's interest, and we must all commit to this basic tenet. We are working hard in collaboration with the security services to maintain and improve upon the peace security the region is currently enjoying. I commend the commitment of our security agencies despite the challenges they face, and I appeal to them all here present to let us tackle issues of discipline and lawlessness so that we will create a conducive society that will enable us live peacefully.
Alhaji Shani also raised concerns over performance of schools at the Basic Education Certificate examination.
In the year 2020, the region recorded 11.7% pass rate of students who had passes in 6 subjects, with 3 core including English and mathematics. In the WASI, compared to a 9.3% rise pass rate in 2019, again, here there is increase from 38% to 43% in the pass rate of students attaining aggregate 6 to aggregate 36, including credits in core subjects in the basic education certificate examination. We must challenge ourselves to do better. Very soon, an education review forum will be organized to look at this issue.
And that's it for the AM news. But coming up next, we bring you the news review. We're going to be interacting on very topical matters. We're lean on the papers this morning. The papers are also on holidays, but we'll bring you all the scoop right here in the course of the news review. And I have a little story I'm going to be sharing with you about an encounter with the Ghana police yesterday. Stay. Well, thank you for staying with us. Time now for the news review. We'll be getting to the major news portals and then sharing there the stories with you. myjoyonline.com, graphic.com, among others. Just stay with us. Of course, we are very lean on papers today because guess what? The papers are resting. They are taking a hiatus. But we day, rain or shine, we day here. We day for you. The conversation. He is actually on. Mr. Pogo, a very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning and belated happy independence.
Oh, I thought you were going to add belated happy birthday. I celebrate my birthday on the 3rd. Ghana celebrates on the 6th.
When was your birthday?
On the 3rd.
Oh, wow. You share the same birthday with my mom.
Oh, you see, even more reason for you to celebrate both of us.
Happy belated birthday.
Even as we get into the stories on My Joy Online and other online portals, the BBC as well later on, I just like to share this story with you and get your take because I want to go to the police and I want to petition the IGP if possible. Someone may say, well, maybe a bit of a small issue, but here's what happened to me. I closed from the probe yesterday. I'm heading in a certain direction and I'm using the N1, Kojo. Now, you know, after what used to be Men's Gold's office, that oil entity, I just forget the name sometimes. To your right, so you know that place, right before the traffic light, and to your left, you have Fiesta Royale. Before we get there, at 9:31 p.m., this police van, you know those old, is it Land Cruiser or whatever, the truck types?
Yes.
So they are coming from the 3rd lane to my left. We are in the middle lane, and there's one lane to my right. This car just whizzes by. I mean, it's entering my lane and the speed at which he was coming. I had to quickly veer to my right. And imagine, Kojo, it passed us like that. And then a little ahead, I go there. They are to my right at this point. And I just roll down and I ask, hey, dude, what's up? Why did you do that? A simple apology, Kojo, would have done it for me. No, get out. Who are you? People, you feel because you put a sana mote and hey, thankfully, Kojo, I had a witness in my car. Another gentleman that I was actually going to drop off somewhere. So we saw all of what they did. And then again, this time they had come to my left. They were turning at Fiesta Royale. I said to them, so what you did you feel it was right? Oh, Mufaso, and all kinds of things that they were saying. Then I told them they started toning down. I want to follow up on this issue because sometimes we are celebrating 65 years of independence. Our police can be so reckless on the road, it is amazing. These are the same people telling you, MTTD and the rest, drive safe, do this, do that. Sometimes they are the worst perpetrators. And like I'm saying, what they did could have resulted in an accident. What do you think?
Much so.
I really want to take this on.
It's a good observation.
Right.
And I think that you should follow through. If you took the car number, by all means, report it.
We did. I just don't want to mention it on TV, but we did.
Yes, because the thing is, I mean, you even get times when they have the siren on, move to the side and realize that the guy is going nowhere. Okay? And the recklessness, look, I've always gone back to the heart of the matter. I think the level of education is very important. Okay? The professionalism of the police, you can equate that to the level of education. I'm not saying that they are illiterate, but I'm saying that the level of education will allow, like you said, all you needed was an apology. If that person had the basic training and before he entered the police had a certain level of education, okay, that person would have what it takes to now say, I'm sorry. But when they put a uniform on, they think they are bigger than everybody. Okay? And I don't know the number of people in that car, but at times
there were at least we saw 2. We suspect there could have been 3, but at least there were 2 of them in the pickup truck.
So normally one person will be like, "Oh, boss, it's okay," because and feels that because he has the uniform on, he can never be wrong. That's what I want you to point out to them, that rule of law. Okay, rule of law is simply that everybody is beneath the law. The law is supreme. So it doesn't matter if you're police, you are military, you are IGP, you are anybody. Rule of law means that we are all underneath the law. And it's very important you follow through.
Why? So I'm going to do exactly that and identify him in a parade. And the sort of arrogance and I must add sheer stupidity he showed, makes me want to actually go the full haul on this matter so that they realize you can't just do this to citizens. I was in a branded car. How about someone else who is not in any? I mean, sometimes they feel they're above the law, like you're saying, and it's something that we really ought to watch. But let's take a look at yesterday on the probe last night as I contemplated Ghana. 65 years with precious little to show. Kojo, look, I have an archived document, visual document, 1 year of our first anniversary and the sort of things we were celebrating after 1 year of independence. And now I look on 64 years in addition to that 1 year, making 65. And I am sad, honestly, when I contemplate Mother Ghana. What are your quick reflections on 65 years of our independence and what you see, even as we celebrated in Cape Coast yesterday?
Point, we just retrogressed. Because when I was born as a little kid in Fantinu town in Kumasi, the things that I saw that existed in Ghana, and as I grow up, every day you realize that we are going backwards. Let me give you a typical example. There was a time when some guys came to my office and said, look, they've gotten some investors and they think that Silverbird is making so much money, showing new films, and they want us to try and come together and put similar Silverbirds across the country, and especially Kumasi and all the guys were very excited. So I look at them and laugh and said, look, you see, there's something you don't know. Cinemas in Ghana is not new. In the past, the Indians, Nankeni and Hagan, okay, and these chaps were Indians who settled in Ghana. They had over 12 cinemas, latest Indian movie and the latest Chinese movies in the big screen. These screens were bigger than current day cinemas, okay? And these were very up-to-date cinemas at that time. What happened? Eventually, they phased out. I don't know what it was, but then for me, I think it was more to do with the curfew. When Rawlings came, the curfew was what spoiled it, because the cinemas were mostly popular in the evening, and when people have to sleep at 6 o'clock, the curfews basically spoiled the cinemas. But a lot of things, we used to make biscuits. There were these biscuits made in Kumasi. There was Pioneer Biscuits. A lot of the industries, plates. I remember very well, there was a that had in the Achimota area glass factory. A lot of the industries, we are trying to build it back. So we've retrogressed. If you look at the meaning of our independence, 65 years, you cannot even say that we've gotten to the point of economic independence. And yesterday, I said this and somebody was laughing. And I'm like, look, we've not really had the chance as a nation to grow as Ghanaians. We've always had one imposition or the other. So, look, in the Akan Palance, yes, like, oh, the Mwedido Omundinko, it's sad that 65 years is wasted. But I honestly believe that if we have the admission to say that, look, we have failed in 65 years, the successes column is not a lot, okay? The non-success column is more than the success column. Let's regroup. Let's look at another 65 years from now, and let the future judge that we took reconnaissance of years on.
Right. Well, interesting dynamics. Now, yesterday again on the probe, as we spoke about Ghana, the national picture and energy, Dr. Suleiman shared his thoughts, energy expert, shared his thoughts on some matters. And I asked him, should we privatize TOR, looking at all the problems we've had, right from the 60s to 1991 when we got so, shareholder stakes or proprietorship and turned it into the Tema oil refinery. Should we privatize it? He said yes.
But TOR was
that is the way to go.
Entity. TOR was never a public entity. TOR was built by Agip. The Italians built TOR.
Exactly. It was a collaboration.
Okay? Right. Made a mess of it. Now, in the last, God knows, 2 years or so, TOR has been turned into like a political football. In the last year, we've got the IMC that went in there and did nothing. And I repeat, they did nothing. They went in there for 9 months and they tell us that, oh, they stopped theft, they stopped this. No, they did not. They went there and did nothing. They should come and tell us and make public the report, which they gave to the board, and tell us what they've done. The core function of Tema Oil Refinery is to refine. So if you are put in there and for 9 months you couldn't bring a single crude oil parcel into TOR, you have failed. And the earlier we stop this thing of the IMC did well, the IMC stopped theft and all those things, the better. Let's admit things that we've done wrong. TOR should be privatized. TOR, forget privatization. TOR should be sold. At this point,
TOR should be sold.
Government of Ghana.
No, Kojo, hold it right there. Stall a bit for me. TOR should be sold. This is our national asset that we want to get on board so that we'll not face some of the, exchange.
Doesn't address any of those problems.
How
you
so?
See, your currency problem, TOR doesn't address it. Your fuel problem, TOR doesn't address it. TOR does it. Look, if TOR is to function, TOR will buy crude at the current international market price. TOR is going to get crude at any cheaper price. The days when we were doing G2G with Nigeria, where Nigeria was giving us crude at a little discount and maybe 60 days credit, it's over. Nigeria today will not even give us G2G, and if they give us G2G, it wouldn't be at a discount. And surely it won't be at 60 days. Okay? So my point is that TOR today, the function of TOR, the capacity of TOR, belongs to 30 years ago. TOR is about what? 30,000, 60,000 a barrel. Sorry, 30,000. TOR is 30,000. Okay? We had the burner. There was a blowout at TOR 2017. Okay? 4 years on, we've not been able to fix the burner. Now tell me, if you have a refinery that had a burner, so now maybe do 24,000 barrels per day stream.
Right.
Does it take 4 years to fix the burner? 4 good years.
That is a no-brainer. I agree with you. And not just 4 years. In past times, the things we could have done with TOR that we've not done. No-brainers.
The majority shareholder of TOR, which is government, does not have the money to fix TOR. So why?
And that can mitigate the situation, right? Rather than just sell off.
Okay, so let me give you an example. You're going to take an equity position, okay? So let's say that TOR needs about, call it $500 million, okay? So how much do you think the government has to spend in the 100 million so that government takes like 1/5 of the shares? Government doesn't have 100 million. We are hearing the stories going around in the news whereby people are even saying that we can't pay salaries. So what money does the government have? Look, we have this passionate on nationality that, oh, is a national asset. So what? What is national asset that doesn't give anything to the government? And we are paying salaries. We keep saying that TOR should be put on its feet to create employment. TOR is not an employment factory. TOR is supposed to function as a business, not to create employment. When we look at TOR, that, oh, we need to get TOR working to create employment, as if the main aim of TOR is to keep employing people. No, TOR has to get to an equilibrium where it makes profit. We wish them well. There's a new managing director that I'm told has come in. We wish him well. We hope government has the boldness to sell it.
Okay.
As it is now, it has no benefit for me and you. There are some proposals on the table, and let me give you some of the proposals. Some people are proposing to take TOR on a concession, okay? Take it on a concession, invest the needed money to build the gas pipeline to basically power the plant with gas, fix the desulfurizer so that our petroleum products can, and modernize their gantries with the valves and everything to be automated. These are investment that TOR needs immediately. So if somebody wants to take it on, invest that money, take it for like maybe 15 years, and then take their money out and return what is left to TOR, or government at that point will sell it on permanently.
Right.
Why not? But TOR does not belong in the government fold.
Now, very quickly, let's talk about gas as well, LPG, very quickly on this one, because we already know the dynamics. But I want your take, because recently we had a 5% increase. In the period of a year, we have increased LPG prices by 70%. You could be buying to fill your cylinder over 200 cedis. And yesterday, I actually went out there, comparative, 6 months ago and yesterday, current prices. I'll just walk you through a few of them, because I have 3 kg all the way to 54 kg. But for 3 kg, standard filling is 55 cedis. That is about 12 liters. And then if you want to fill to the brim, that's 70 cedis. If you go back 6 months, what you're getting for 55 cedis was 35 cedis, 20 cedis added. And, at 40 cedis for what you are now getting for 70 cedis. That was 6 months ago. When you look at 15 kg, for example, 5 cedis, and if you wanted a top-up, even that wouldn't be to the brim, but it would be max 190 cedis. Today, if you want that is what you're getting today. Back then, it was 90 cedis and 125 cedis. Let's go to 54 kg for those who use it commercially, maybe for baking. Now you have to pay between 580 to 600 cedis for normal and 630 cedis for max. When back some 6 months ago, you were paying between 450 and 500 cedis for max. So looking at these differences, what can we do specifically when it comes to gas? Your take, how do we resolve this?
Now, you keep saying the word, could you be surprised? My brother, nothing surprises me anymore in this country. So that word of could you be surprised, I'm not surprised.
You are not surprised?
Let me tell you the fundamental problem with the gas. LPG, okay? About 55% or a little bit before about that. I don't have the exact figure, but we get a very good amount of gas from the Ghana gas in that trouble. Okay. Now, because TOR is not refining, we don't get any from TOR. So TOR tanks, people import into TOR and sell. Now, LPG is a byproduct of the natural gas we get from the field. Now, the gas that Ghana gas gets from the Jubilee field is free. LPG from the methane, so that they send the methane to the gas, the electricity generators, the IPPs, okay? So that they use the methane to generate electricity. The LPG, which is, I think, propane and butane, now it's byproduct. So that one is what we bottle as LPG. That is a byproduct. Now, you would think that the gas that Ghana gas, the LPG that Ghana gas is selling us will be much cheaper than the imported gas, isn't it?
Right.
Because one, the gas from the field is free. Two, is a byproduct. Ghana gas is selling these gas at the same price as imported gas.
And that is a problem, isn't it? Because I hear we even sometimes send, some of our products to Burkina Faso, and they sell cheaper than we are selling in Ghana. So it makes sense what you're saying.
Brother Honorable Anodom stood on the floor of Parliament and said that the untold story of Ghana gas is doing AstroTurf, Ghana gas is doing this, Ghana gas is ripping off Ghanaians to do these things. Ghana gas is ripping me and you off. And when you ask people, why is Ghana gas doing that? They say, oh, there's a loan they have to pay back. The gas they send to the IPPs, they don't get paid. So it's the LPG money that you use. Why? So, like I said, the gas, the LPG gas that the Mobrowa needs in this country, Ghana gas, if they really want to do the savings and the things they claim they are doing, they should stop the AstroTurfs and they should stop all the things that Mr. Benasanti is doing across the country and trying to LPG is imported into the country. You are sitting here, your raw material is free from Jubilee. You are only stripping it as byproduct and selling it to Ghanaians, the Mobrowa, for the same price of imported. And you want to say that there's an untold story of Ghana gas? Please, I'm sorry.
All right.
There's no untold story.
Right. Let me just take you back a bit, straying a little from the Ghana gas project. But the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, has been saying that there are no first and second class citizens or countries, more or less. And we also heard the rhetoric of Mr. President at yesterday's Independence Day anniversary about patriotism, about coup talk, about democracy and what we stand for. Again,
as a patriotic citizen, I'll say that we are first class. I don't want
is that hoping or being realistic?
No, realistic. Are you comparing us to others, or we are comparing ourselves to who? I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to compare me, we are first class citizens. I don't think if you want to compare us to other countries, then maybe we look at the pros and cons. But Ghanaians, I think we're first class citizens. The patriotism is here where people are making this stupid argument of coup d'etats, all those things. For me, I think we should put it where it belongs and not even encourage that conversation on any show or platform. What, for me, some of the things that Mr. President is saying now, for me, I think should have been said in 2017. And some of us stood on various platforms and said that that was what Ghana needed. The talk of more revenue, the talk of having to chip in for more, the talk of Ghana needs to come together and basically look within and build our own country. That is a 2017 conversation, not 2022 conversation. Okay, right. So I don't know at what point he came to the same page as us, because some of us have been saying this far back as 2014, 2015. And those were the things that we're telling His Excellency is also saying the same thing. Like I said, for me, I believe in better late than never. So now that we've come to the realization and acknowledgement that the likes of Kojo Bonsu were saying the truth, and all the things we are saying now, everybody now wants to get on board. That's fine. Let's all get on board and let's make Ghana what it should be. Okay. So I think we are first-class citizens.
Right. Kojo, you want to be president someday. You're contemplating standing, rubbing shoulders with those on the ticket of the NPP and maybe emanating or definitely emanating the flag bearer. I want to run this by you as I go to the BBC. I'm sure you followed the Ukraine-Russia standoff and what it means as well for our energy issues. Now, how would you react to the, what do you call it? The Russians are bombarding hospitals, they are bombarding schools, they are bombarding infrastructure. They are basically doing what they did in Chechnya, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And it's just been chaotic. When you go on the BBC, most of the stories there on BBC World talking about Ukraine and what the country is facing. Interestingly, but on our Independence Day, Russia sent us congratulatory messages. How would you react if you were president?
Well, bear in mind, it's a war, and everybody in their same mind condemn war. Because war, there are no gainers and losers. Everybody loses. In war, the people of Ukraine is going through a lot. Imagine me and you today having to pack one bag or a suitcase or even a backpack and leave Ghana into neighboring countries and don't know if we will come back and our house will be there. So war is a bad thing. We all condemn it. The president has condemned it, which is a good thing. We are in the National Security the UN Security Council, and we voted against it, which is a good thing. But it doesn't right. Whether wrong or right, that is not for us to now say that, oh, I'm not talking to you again. I'm not going to do this. We can't afford to be at loggerheads. Countries are putting sanctions on Russia. Ghana, for where we are, we can't afford to put sanctions on anybody. It would even be mimical for us to try and say we are putting sanctions on anybody. So for me, condemning it, showing by our action, the United States, the United Nations Security Council voting against it, we've actually shown our hand. We've condemned it publicly as the president has done. We move on. I mean, I think it will resolve itself. Some of these things do. There's been wars in the world over thousands of years. Today is social media and 24-hour news media that amplify some of these things.
Right.
The world affairs are with them. Our brothers and sisters who are studying there, I hope they all get back safely. And I think the government is doing a lot more to bring them back. But for me, that's where it ends. Let's not try and get into that middle of that thing to now say, oh, Russia, we won't take your message. No. Russia is a country that has huge significance. Okay, today in the geopolitical politics,
right?
You don't go to the west or go to the east. You become non-aligned and stay in the middle.
Movement. Right. Thank you. The way I deal with issues may seem too loud, but that's how I heal. Abnakoko saying that. Kojo, do you know Abnakoko?
I've seen her in the media and the post that she posted.
Okay, all right. There's also Ghana at 65. Akufo-Addo assures of preserving Ghana's democracy, condemns recent coup talks. LPG is now more or less a luxury product. Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Yes or no? Do you agree?
Well, it shouldn't be. That's why I'm saying that if Ben Asante and his Ghana Gas want to help the Mobrawa, they should stop up and stop ripping us off.
All right. And finally, Ghana at 65, gymnastics display with fire gone wrong. Did you watch that gymnastic display?
Please, no, I was not able to watch it. Why? What happened?
They were trying to jump through hoops and you just go online and follow the thread. Yeah.
Well, we should applaud some of these things. Look, I think Ghana, instead of only doing some of these things for the Independence Day, we should groom some of these things to go to the Olympics. We have a lot of talent in Ghana. We should groom them to go for the Olympics.
Thank you so much, Kojo, for joining the conversation. But up next, we have sports, and yesterday, for real, my team, Manchester United, the Red Devils, they looked like something else apart from Devils. They were thumped by 4-1, and it didn't look good. I mean, Manchester City with cheeky ease dealt with us. Riyad Mahrez, they basically put us on their laps, and my team is Manchester United. They put us on their laps and gave us, lashes. That's how it turned out yesterday. Well, there'll be more of that action coming your way in sports, and of course, there's also the President's Cup where Kotoko lost to Accra Hearts of Oak. All of that in sports up next.
Well, thank you very much for staying with us. And as I promised, we're going to have a conversation with the man, Emmanuel Gameboy Tagoe. It's been a very, interesting day of physical training and conditioning with the experienced coach Carl Loko. Now, all of this is geared towards April 9 in San Antonio, Texas, where one date that this boxer has been looking forward to for some time now is finally going to be made manifest before the eyes of the boxing-loving fans and sporting-loving fans all over the world. Well, he's traveled a very good journey, and in 33 fights, he's lost only once and has 15 knockouts out of his 32 wins. Well, so that's the story of the man, Emmanuel the Gameboy Tagoe, and was right here on this ground, and I'm talking about this hallowed ground of the Bukom Boxing Arena boxing edifice, which sure carries a lot of history when it comes to the boxing story in Ghana. This man is one of the 10 boxing world champions that Ghana has recorded since Ghana started making major achievements on the international scene when it up to since you came back for holidays in Accra.
Yeah, first of all, I'm at membership because your training camp, your Florida for a long time. She now opponent not can ban like a small day coming on. Ranga say already I don't make lady working like Yomo, but me can win and it small day. And she so lucky any bar me keep on me training can be. I feel like it's good opportunity to me for now. Nima prove himself much on my family. My family Anna our best ni. Manima fe mama I don't feel like this is the time ni sanima fight me ni ma use me ke showcase I don't feel like me prepare towards for they can fight me in face Ranga say I don't feel like mashi mami Friday decide I can mashi Thursday she na get sanima she Friday or I feel like after Friday from there I been I
want you to tell me about how you feel about opponents walking away from you when negotiations come up. For instance, there are a few big names in the lightweight division. The name Emmanuel Tagoe is mentioned, and they want to, steer clear of you. They don't want to entertain any talk about fighting you. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, sometimes I feel bad because. Very bad. I don't even know the Ashebugbe. Nimbu Masu. No ni me pile. Na can top 5 no le. Inche Lomachanko, Inche Ryan Garcia, Inche David Eni. What me in try am feel like in force in push. What push was say what am fe we no ni me pile dino. They be any as they choose near an ordinary contest. I won't feel like a JoyNews back in Kelebano because I feel like a Kuleo Kenny back campaign Shimba Ghana, but spend holidays. She on I get so lucky like in Lenu to my own keep on BBB make it. One, I won't feel like it. In the ranking for now, I maintain Mukume accept me. Think I prove much of Fiamma because lightweight unified champion in close partner and in mates, I know them like in the fair division. I won't doubt me. Sometimes many doubt of me. Jena me le no ni manima fe shi. Ona ke if you to ro from ke son e come a e fable for sure e wo mi la. No ji me Ghana because in deliver no ye ni teje me prove am. Or me prove am. I feel like this is the time is anima prove more much on Ghana bi ake. No ni manima fe ni. Ni like fight ni le pressure very quick. No ni me pile about me. Because me imagine money me na me tla shallow me put tashini. Amami actually ni kenpa allo amami actually ni show sign you know like imam bi no le beni Ghana bi wo yo allo no ko na amami actually gen face sign here problem e Ghana bi po deje bo cash no kwe no ni manima fe final.
It's a whole semi-carnival atmosphere in here. The members of the Ghana Boxing Supporters Union, his friends and some mates from the vicinity are all here. All of this is to give him support and such as this. We'll be coming to your relationship with the fans and your relationship with the boxing authority and all of that. But I want you to tell me about how you've positioned yourself. I mean, you keep talking about it, about people doubting you, people doubting your quality, people doubting your capability, and people doubting that you can deliver on.
You feel or bad, you feel it bad. The reason when you feel or bad, you feel it bad. Onake, Jena me liake nyema fe, amele kama kanshina me wo, amele liake beke energy best. She sometimes onake ke, oh jomoya da feel ona fans say you win over because me paint me black ni me paint me amele ake white ni she ameke black ngo mi fe amele ake white enjepo only me see because me expect ake sani man no warm up man no me boxing internship 2 years nimba no 3 years nimba no no any panic me any fear ko ni fans say me ni reality fans amele no ni man ma fe wa me ka me three support.
So a signature when you come around here and this side of town, the folk songs, the Jama songs, that's what we call them in local parlance, and that is how it all runs. So remember that we're here on this channel bringing you this big conversation on JoyNews, on Joy Prime, and this exclusive conversation is coming to you from the center of the Bukum Boxing Arena. Now, Game Boy, you have traveled a journey in Ghana. You've spoken about it at length. You training. Tell me about the relationship that you have with, Lawrence Kaoloko, whom we see you doing a lot with, in this period as you get yourself ready to go to the United States.
Yeah, first of all, I can't get my no need boxing. Ni me feel ni le no e chomi fueje. Le ni kele start kejem papa time because in start boxing yeah, Napoleon gym. Niji coach Gago like me by boxing like in your road on the mommy boxing. Nimiji only boxer koni Ghana sometimes anya you in quality and you negative ones because miji only boxer and say boxing no novice, no amateur straight to professional. In low 16 titles say I'm in deliver well. Apart for that yeah, Black Panther and any gym papa coach Akese.
God bless his soul.
Yeah, eke nika jimoni amenyemi nika nike mi ajuo fuile nike no nika nkele start from day one or one day gbele gym.
I see.
What do you mean? Because no me what decide no me what a boxer kwa actually Osman Akaba.
Yeah, Osman Akaba. I remember him.
Ni wa Akese gym nike prosper nkra. Ke wokele no woni ne fa shi ke ke wokapa no ke wokpa be wokele training be wa training ye conclude. They call ke ke once more e ke obachi wo ni egbele gym. No fair plan. She ne gbeleji me wonye wo shi wo papa kese unu wo kala battery. After time ni decide ake ma ba na ake urumi e ke come on training ni ke come here urumi one division debate what thing like me, this morning we are closer. She always say, what relationship we are fine, we are do bad Sunday, we are okay. What do you mean? She sometimes say, come out of we can come here new to me by join no man can what what I drew of we. Can walk back and you won't feel like any car. Me no care about tuning the equal and papa no to me. Won't feel like this that time in Kelly approve what home of family. Sometimes I feel like a coach like a support bamboo box and over deliver on do yo. Me coach fan in Kelly tuning coach ever care about me. No need your me. The man don't enjoy any jable no. America ni yo in coach back yima. Today I don't see your magic. Skemi fe magic here. Ghanaian say get magic. Beginning is started. I mean enjoy your magic. If anything, if you like a unified champion, can inspiring mates in Kelly gym. Apart for that, and can make different inspiring. What can you like a more unified title? When you have credit for you, no one can knock a chance. Here, one you can make come chance. Here, the 3 years near. Rate essentially come down. Rate is fame. Mbappe number 1, Mbappe number 2, Mbappe number 3, Mbappe number 4, Mbappe number 3 years neni no kwa nya drop me rate same. E won feel like can wa mo fia mo nta mo go ni wa na kila no. Wo kan wa squad choose me wo me no le mo na choose na ka me no ameji me ni wa la. I mean ta opponent, I me ka me be opponent. Ake me ten ya ke okay na me ji option mo ko me choose mo ko choose me. Ni you think ake lo ma chan ko nto no do bibio lele me do bibio no me ji number 3 number 4. Ni le po yense. Yeah. What do you mean? She say was an me choose naked no. See me di number 9 e wo ke mene any ke to mo ko ekala no do BBC ke ni bi na kwa me no choose like sometimes any bi komani she yeah okay because sometimes them late and so for me show ni bi komani experience come no box ni afi mi bibio allo my experience is to mo be na yi o my experience I can you to feel or thing because
so this is to say that in your whole career you have not you've not had any stiff position, you haven't had any difficulty with any of your opponents before?
No. He experienced going down because from day one, I don't think I can maybe US and Oscar you can a birthday gift. Ona kona a birthday na poison book she ni birthday she shifted down. No, I expect I can get poison, but after birthday, any birthday, and then I get you. That very day now, about no birthday time, we want me show time. Okay, to me.
So, if you just joined us, we're still having this conversation. IBO lightweight champion Emmanuel the Game Boy Tagoe, who's looking forward to causing a major upset the world over because he believes in his skill and he believes that he's got what it takes to silence everyone on the international scene on April 9. We've talked a bit about your relationship with the trainer. Let's talk about your relationship with the fans. I mean, this is a regular conditioning session, but then we do realize that you have quite a number of people here, the relationships that you've grown, in the vicinity, amongst your fans and all of that, and how that also feeds into, your everyday exploits in the ring.
Nathaniel, you know something about me. Omu di papa share boxing no. Omu no mu di mechi. Omu for omu ni papa en share boxing no. Omu kan ma asem negative. Upa se antokwa no ameko. Pe ti say we ni unye din, we wo say. Dey bia say me unye din. Maku 33 fighters always me prove me wrong. Enti I don't know the reason why enti dey bia man for doubt to me no. And sometimes nipa no betimi hu say we ntimi me a wo say we give me ntimi no. 80 fans no maybe be a fans no omu fake no omu crap omu no mbe ma ye bebo me no 80 me minimum say we me fans na we old fans I know you minimum omu fake omu ba be join no because who need option uncrofo no yabu obi a Ghana no me pe na embo me omu pe say embo me boxing me kema keko no money no ka jimi npa boxing because imbe no ni mama ke fans say
you're saying that if you lose this bout, you're out. You're not fighting again. That's a big statement to make.
Yeah, because it was fine because I don't think I guess any.
But you know that in boxing is also a case of 3 results. It's a win, a loss, or a draw. So there's a possibility that either of these could happen, and anything can also happen in the ring. And so it's a big statement to make. Consequently, instance that you lose this bout, you can still continue. Why would you want to stop?
because J. Ryan Garcia Sane.
I see.
Only me, you know me expect yen alone, only me to my achieve boxing and feel like a Sani Ryan Garcia. My fee. Le Ryan Garcia Lenche, choose me, Shamela, I can't enjoy me. Only me no money, no pressure, Beno. Mini yo, I get my chulema. Where me to Ebama Mina can't slave. Well, no money, no. Only no me promise Ghanaian spec. You will no penny care by every chemi position and it. Fine. She mini magic, ebe magic. Magic obey ni game mini. Touch on ten.
Game Boy.
Touch on ten.
Game Boy.
Touch on ten.
Game Boy.
Say my name again.
Thank you for staying with us on the AM show. Time now for our big stories. Ghana is 65. We all know that. And that means a lot. If Ghana were to be human, she would have been on pension, enjoying pension benefits by now. But we want to talk about all of that. Ghana beyond politics. How do we refine our politics from our day-to-day activities so we can make Ghana truly better? Join us as we interact with some fine brains. Joining us for the conversation, Dr. Edward Amache. He is a political scientist at the KNUST, Development Initiatives, and Hadi Yakubu, Fighter General, Economic Fighters League. Later, we'll also be talking about the MPP's polling station elections, infighting, and all of that. Our focus will be on Manshia North, where some constituency executives are determined to disrupt the election till their demands are met. We'll be interacting with, also join us with your thoughts on social media with the hashtag AMShow. Let's get to our guests now, and let me say a very good morning to Dr. Amache, Mr. Derry, and Mr. Yakubu. A very good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning, Ben.
Okay, I'm awaiting a third person to say good morning. Right. Thank you so much for connecting. As we start this conversation on Ghana, I just want your quick reflection on Ghana 65 years on. And I have said 3 times already, I'll say it again. I watched a short clip of Ghana's first independence anniversary and the sort of things we had to celebrate. And I look at Ghana, another 64 years added, so 65. And what we're looking at currently, where we find ourselves in terms of energy, in terms of the economy, in terms of governance, in terms of leaders, in terms of democracy, and how well we are faring. I'll start with you, Dr. Amache.
Okay, let me say good morning again to you and to your cherished viewers, listeners, and colleagues on the program. Ben, I'm Kwesi Amache Boateng. I'm not Edward.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for the correction. Kwesi Amache Boateng. Right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Ben, let me look at it this way. You see, a country, and the Constitution specifies the political system, the system of government it is putting in place. And by talking about the Constitution, the understanding is that we have a consensus around the provisions in the Constitution and generally the citizenry, society at large. You know, political scientists argue that you won't get 100% support for the Constitution. It is likely you will have between 20-25% of, people, particular system of government you have put in place. And the argument is that this is the basic thing that should be in place before you can proceed to talk about sustained economic growth and social development. Now, let's take a look at Ghana. From the time of independence to date, Ghana has tried on 4 occasions, including the military, will accept and come to terms with the fact that we need these basic institutions and structures in place to build on it, to generate economic growth, and also to embark on social development, to affect the lives of our citizens. We need, including members of the military. So in Ghana's 65 years, Ghana spent several of them doing what I call a merry-go-round, not understanding itself, not knowing what to do. I'm saying this because we're talking about development. So any talk about coup d'etat will have to be placed in this context, that we are rolling back every gains. We are rolling back every gain. So if Ghana, because it is this support from citizens, especially the elites, that render the state legitimate on the basis of which we can work. So once we don't have this in place, let's forget about development. So,
where we find ourselves now, I mean, how would you describe it, the picture of it? Because it appears while you speak for the Democrat, we've not done what we should have done or could have done as a people. So what exactly then are you trying to state?
No, there's, basically, one thought that at least we'll have to understand a semblance of hope that something is working. We have one leg.
Do you see that hope? Do you see that hope?
Development.
Do you see that hope?
With various elections, the outcome, our ability to resolve our differences that come out of the elections,
right?
Our ability to proceed in spite of the fact that some believe that, look, but let's proceed, let's move on. At least on 2 occasions, we experienced something like this, 2012, 2020. So if these developments unfold and we go beyond them, then ordinarily you want the politics leg of the development, the need to render the Ghanaian state legitimate by deciding to work with an agreed-on system of government, democratic governance. If this is indeed, I'm linking this to Professor Tugube's speech and his paper.
Right.
It is problematic. The answer to bad governance in a democracy, mismanagement be. It is never so. A coup d'etat reverses everything, achieved. So it should never enter into our minds. The reason is this. I started by saying that you are not going to get 100% of your citizens to support any system of government, meaning that at any material, whether it is functioning or not, it is for self-serving purposes. And let's take a glance back. The coup d'etats that have really occurred in Ghana, none of them came with a well-worked out agenda.
I am tempted to ask if the right things are being done, would anybody contemplate a coup d'etat? But just before you even come in there, nobody wants that. Let's just make it clear that in addressing what Professor Tuguba said, we put it in its right context. He prefaced everything he said with the fact that no one wants a coup. Nobody wants that. It is useless. People in administration now have referred to the Arab Spring. Just as in the Arab Spring, certain issues led a man to self-immolation, set himself on fire, which devolved into subsequent actions that led to some leaders exiting power. When you have the right ingredients, like economic failure, like extreme harm, you're an academic. How do you see it?
It is not necessarily a suggestion. At the same time, it could be. It is not necessarily a suggestion. At the same time, it could be simply because at any moment in time in the life of any state, there are some people who look for crevices to take advantage of opportunities to really ever happen to Ghana, came with any well-worked out agenda to develop Ghana. None of them.
Right.
None of them, zero. And Africa has no record of the military bringing development to any country. So we can't think of, anyone contemplating that. It shouldn't be part of the conversation.
Okay.
It's not necessarily prefixing with anything. It could be even an opportunity or a signal to some people giving any grounds, justification for anything. The Arab Spring notwithstanding, what happened there? We don't need to really keep this as part of the conversation. We are not making progress in Ghana as a country.
Right.
We are still marking time. We have not agreed on a system to support it. They don't support the democratic system that we have in place.
And that leads to my next...
The behavior of people in government.
Right. And that leads to my next question, which I'm going to address to Mr. Derry, who is with the Center for Development Initiatives. It is Dr. Arthur Kennedy that I heard on Newsfile making this comment about the fact that, and again, I stand corrected if he wasn't the one, so that, yes, we practice democracy, but it's the bare minimum of democracy. Oh, freedom of speech. Even that is an issue that we're talking about now. The very basics. Oh, we go to the ballot every 4 years and vote. Oh, we do this and that. We're democratic. But what democracy, ruled by the people, should be delivering, we are not getting. What is your take on that as we even talk about 65 years of national life, Mr. Derry?
Okay. Thank you for attention. But that's a political science. He's on point. Yes, for me, talking as a social worker, number one, as a development person who have been around, I'm not too old, I'm also not too young. I will say that indeed, democracy is meaningless unless it is linked to the bread and butter issues of the people.
I would like you to go over that. I'd like you to go over that. Very important.
I'm saying that democracy is meaningless unless it is linked to the bread and butter matters of the ordinary person.
Right.
It is meaningless unless it carries everyone along, particularly the vulnerable, the excluded, children, women, who constitute the majority of our population.
Right.
Democracy is meaningless until in our quest is linked to ensuring that in our processes of development, I will also be mindful to say that, yes, 65 years down the line, as Dr. Mache have rightly pointed out, a chunk of those years have been spent trying and experimenting with the military. But one thing we should also not gloss over is the fact that we have peace, and let me say peace is not the absence of violence. Peace is not across the country to the extent that the military will have an opportunity to step in. I'm saying this because I have been very privileged to play a key role within the UN system to set up the Ivorian refugee camps in the Western region. My brother, I listened to over 5,000 of them that were resettled in these camps in an attempt to profile and help them to rebuild, to reconstruct and rebuild their life in a foreign. What they were doing prior to that unfortunate incident, you cannot help than to say, Ghana, we are blessed. But that is not to say we are not having challenges. So at Kennedy's assertion, for me, I will not and bottom up issues of the ordinary people are catered for. And that is where we should be focusing our democracy. Because democracy indeed is not just about, okay, we've gone for election, this party has X number of parliamentarians, this one has X number of parliamentarians, we are selecting a speaker, there is chaos, and eventually we have settled it. That, to me, is good. Those are the democratic processes. Those are the democratic unless they are linked to the bread and butter issue. And that brings me to the point that to what extent over the years have we been able to carve out social programs that are able to ensure that the people that are left behind, the vulnerable, are included. My brother, you know what? You and I, the dependency rate of ratio will come and bite you. I take care of my extended family system. But when there are systems and policy in place to cushion me and cushion them, the rate at which they are depending on me will reduce. I will have more disposable income at my economic growth. And for me, that is what we should be looking at.
Tell me, Mr. Derry, when you contemplate all of the matters arising, I mean, I don't want to talk about the increment of petroleum products and all of that. There are things we are all facing. There are global issues to deal with. There's COVID-19. There's economic crunching here and there. But on the back of all of what you've said, when you contemplate this basket, cool to do what? What is your understanding of that? Doc has shared his thoughts on it. Is it that when people talk about it, they are saying, look, we don't want this, but if you don't do the right things, we could get there? Or is it that by talking about it, people want us to get there? Where do you stand on that?
Make it to reflect on what we have done to us as a country.
But it is our reality, right? Just a minute. It is our reality. We have a checkered political history. Like Doc pointed out, it is part of our historical narrative. We can't take it out. And again, it's going on all around us. I mean, is that not our reality? Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea.
But is that the best option for us with this enterprise called Ghana? Is how divided and how polarized we are. And it doesn't have to do with whether NPP or NDC, but we've become more polarized and more partisan to the extent that, for instance, people will be those who have issues with the administration. A lot of media houses. If I have monitored some of the media houses, and now the narrative they are trying to unpack the statement and trying to look at what happened, what were the antecedents, what were some of the precursors to the various coup d'etats that took place, and then all that. We will always have problems. For me, if you ask me as a development person, and more importantly, like someone who have seen, like I mentioned, the Ivorian refugees, my brother, people who are in well-established, the alien, like you and I, are part of those people we call refugees today. And we know how it all started. So for me, I will not want to associate myself, use it, and to make sure that whoever need to take a cue and maybe begin to look at the issues that are coming relative to the narratives. They set up and then see what can we do. But the bottom line is that as a country, our resource envelope is constraining. We are not paying, a lot of us are not paying taxes. And for me, sometimes I always say the lawyer artisan, these masons, these tailors, when he finished, he paid them about 1,500. They are not paying tax on that. And they are the people who are, some of them are part of those who are saying that, and are mining a day or mining a day. How do we broaden the tax net to be able to bring in all this into the tax net? We should forget about even social interventions. Our flagship social interventions that I'm talking about, talk about the LEAP, talk about the school feeding program. To a very large extent, some of them are funded on loans.
Okay, and Hadi Yakubu, just an add-on to what most people would say. Yes, the taxes, we all agree, all of us should be paying more. Some of us are hit right from the bank account when our salaries, drop. But other people would also tell you, yeah, but even what taxes they are taking now. Hadi, your brother, I think, just joking, on Facebook, Sadiq Yakubu says, all these issues come up because we have poor leadership in Ghana. Both NDC and MPP sat. When? Poor leaders that make the youth suffer in Ghana, the poor people suffer more in Ghana. Why? For you, Hadi, with the Economic Fighters League in this enterprise.
Yeah, Ben, thank you very much. And thank you also to the two panelists who have come before me. I think they have spoken very well. I like the point about the fact that democracy is meaningless unless it is linked with, I would say, borrowing, replace bread and butter with maybe cocoa and koshe or kenke and fish. But the point remains that these are the main issues. Democracy should not be just about voting. I do, however, disagree with the last point that was made about the fact that to buy food, on that food they pay tax. They are going to pay money for transport.
Then I mean income tax. Income tax, so not indirect.
Ghanaians are paying taxes, And it is about how those taxes are being used. I think we can't just talk about, we need to be talking about how those taxes are being used. And that brings me to the question that you've asked, Ben, as to how we've done. And when I look as a young person at the country that witnessed the independence of Ghana, I see basically two Ghanas. I see a Ghana that at the independence they were very, very hopeful, and I see a Ghana where citizens were very appreciative of yokes of colonialism. Citizens were very happy to contribute to the development of the country because they could see a vision, a leadership that had established a vision for them, and a vision that could take our country to where we wanted it to be. Different Ghana from what they tell me they experienced or what they had hoped for. And it is a Ghana that is basically visionless. There is basically, I mean, if you
are you suggesting, Hadi, that our leaders who...
Man, stop any 10 people on the streets of Accra or any town for that matter and ask them, what is the vision of Ghana? What is the vision? Where are we going? Today, I don't know what vision has been established for Ghana. I hear slogans, Ghana beyond aid. Talking about slogans or political campaign narratives. No. I'm talking about serious thinking, establishing beyond generations what Ghana needs to establish. As a young person who has, if you stop 10 young people on the streets and ask them, what is the vision? What is Ghana's vision? What is Ghana's dream? They don't know. Probably they will tell you their dream is to probably get visa and move out of the country.
And I can, before you go on, Hadi, I can understand you. I can understand you from the standpoint of
young people want to get out of the country.
Right. I can understand you, Hadi, from the standpoint of, and again, I don't like these Western references, but at least that's the one that comes to mind now. If you think of the American dream, at least in the early, years of, or the last, 3 decades or so, and if you do your bit, you can not only survive, you can thrive. But in Ghana, what is that dream? What is that vision? I guess that's where you're headed, right?
Well, we see, I also don't like the Western references, just like you. And so when I talk about Ghanaian dream, I do not even make reference to American dream or whatever thing. I mean, I'm probably one of the biggest critics of the American system, given its foreign policy consequences for or implications for countries like Ghana and Africa and the Caribbean. But that with all the brain power, and with all the goodwill that Ghana has had over the years, it is impossible for young people of my generation to point to a vision of the country and be hopeful that once we get there, their children and their children's children will be proud of their country. And 70% of the population would not be in a hurry to acquire visas and leave the country.
Okay. So let me just bring in Doc as well quickly on this.
If you can allow me,
please do so in less than a minute, if you can.
So Ben, when I reflect on Ghana 65 years on, I am just about 32 years, less than half of that, and I am looking at and what I've learned, and I'm looking at the future, and it is clearly something that requires a lot of work to be done. And if something is not done drastically, the system that we have now, I'm afraid of what could become of this great country. And myself, for my children and my children's children, it is uncertain what sort of future that is being built for them.
Right, Doc. Let me come into you quickly on this point. So, Hadi talks about that lack of vision. Do you see that particularly in the Fourth Republic, the earlier coups and all of that? But let's focus on the Fourth Republic. Have our leaders been visionary enough, even as we contemplate whether politics has not been the bane of our development? Please unmute, Doc. Dr. Amachim Boateng, please unmute.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I was saying that if there were to have been any vision or a visionary in the Fourth Republic of Ghana, this would have been clear to Ghanaians. People would easily be pointing to that vision and would have been able to find out their role or roles in that vision.
So in effect, just to clarify, our leaders in the Fourth Republic have not been visionary or not been visionary enough.
Ben, to me, the bane of our system now is the challenge of political accountability. If politicians can come into office, get out and get away with everything they do, I mean, their inability to account for the huge amount of money they bring in through loans, then we are in trouble. And this is, to me, the challenge. People who dissipate public funds, which come out every year. And then the system, you see, some people think that we should go in for a constitutional review or even a complete replacement of the Constitution. It is not the Constitution. The Constitution at least enables us to know, to pinpoint who is responsible for the lack of accountability and also to simply stop what appears to me to have become a norm, the rush to go to Parliament. Now, that is the most sought after place, the only place that appears to be, attractive in the economy today. There isn't any other place. And quickly, let me also address, some of the key issues that some of our colleagues have mentioned. You talk about the Arthur Kennedy thing. I agree with him, and that is the crux of the matter. We are not just interested in going out to vote for people to come in a position to deliver. If they go out there and then they are not able to deliver, what our system has demonstrated by voting them out of office has not been able to bring about any change. So once again, maybe some provisions in the Constitution.
Would you like looked at when it comes to Article 71? We know those office holders. We know the benefits, the boons they get. I mean, make the comparative, for example. We are talking about public sector workers who are getting an add-on of 7% in terms of their salaries and all of that. And you're looking at some Article 71 holders getting 70%. You look at the percentages, the benefits they get, ex gratia and all of that.
And very attractive, even when they go and do nothing. They are not affecting the life of Ghanaians. I like the Cocoa and Kose thing. We don't have these on our tables. So it's an indication of the failure of these politicians. I'm saying they don't deserve what has been captured in Article 71. We need to believe that they have what it takes to go out there and help turn the system round so that they could also benefit from their hard work, not necessarily go and then be taking a large chunk from the loans they bring into the country, and the rest of Ghanaians are left, to be on their own. And like it is coming out in our conversation, many people's desire, Parliament goes to the United States to give birth. Make me sick.
You're talking about Adwoa Safo, Sarah Adwoa Safo.
Safo.
Is she the one you're speaking of? The Dominic Kwabena MP?
No. If she did go out there to give birth, then she's one of the people I'm speaking of.
Right.
But I'm looking at that phenomenon. It has been many go out there to give birth. The female members go out there to give birth. I hear currently there's an MPP member of parliament who, I don't know whether she's come back or not, who went out there to give birth. They do that so their children will take up citizenship elsewhere. These people have no business being in our parliament. There's no commitment.
Give birth wherever. I mean, if it's common, that if you are even in a certain country's airspace and you're giving birth to in an aeroplane, you assume their nationality.
Ben, is a moral challenge. The moment you come out as a leader of this country you go through all the procedures to your country. You don't think your child should be a citizen of Ghana.
Should people be banned?
No
Should public officers be banned from doing that?
Ben, it's a moral issue. I don't think we should legislate against any such thing. But the issue is that who are these people who come for our mandate to lead us? Who are these people? Like, I'm overly exposed. Why did they go into government? Now, that will be one of the reasons, to simply enrich themselves and also to reposition themselves and that of their children, so that if Ghana should break up, then away they leave the country when they are members of the political elite. It is unacceptable.
It is unacceptable. Let me come to you, Mr. Derry. Looking at the same pot of issues, would you then say that politics, if you go to the Greek city-states, the polis and what it stood for, it appears we may be deviating from the norm. But would you then say that politics...
I mean...
Mr. Derry, I'd appreciate it if you could speak up a bit more for me.
It has its ups and downs, and once I'm saying that it has its ups and downs, and as a country, once we have elected to use this. But you see, my biggest challenge as a grassroots person who is deeply rooted with the people at the community level, both at the district, the community, the regional, and even at the national. We need to recently the internal audit people came out with this, and that says that some two institutions have embezzled COVID funds. Is it the politicians? Politicians, as we all know, are responsible for passing the laws, especially the within which we as a people or as a nation you embark upon that will bring us better outcomes for our quest for building inclusive societies. And for me, we need to unpack this animal called government. Government. Who is the government? Most of this of our trial of democracy, if we don't have this attitudinal change, this mind change, and begin to just focus on the politicians, we are not going anywhere. Yes, the politicians, for the lecturers to follow. But should anything happen in the university, will you be holding just the vice chancellor responsible? No, it is a team. And the point I'm trying to make is that we have to look at the accountability systems that we are put in place through the development partners. There's a consortium of NGOs led by CARE that is implementing what we call the Ghana Strengthening Accountability Mechanism Project, together with the local government. And if you look at that particular program, the resources, be it the District Assembly Common Fund, be it the development partner support, particularly as they relate to physical infrastructure. Right. So that project is making them more to set up. So we need to look at this whole business of government and see. And my brother Adi was talking about something which I associate with. So most of the auditors general report, going campaigns, they make us to see them as a panacea to our problems. Even when our wives are going to hospital, they can support. When outdooring, they can support. So when you come and make such huge promises, raise the temperature of expectation, it becomes difficult to manage the expectation when you come to power. Okay. It's the same thing with the political parties. They campaign, and I know on one occasion, for example, Joy FM in one of the during the heat of the phenomena came up. Bernard Shaibu, who used to be there, he asked the question that the NDC was saying that they were going to tackle the Kaya phenomena by doing initiative in the north so that they would stay there. The NPP said they were going to do something in terms of social housing. So as a development person, as somebody who have worked with Kaya or children in street situation for more than 20 years, which of the two interventions is effective? And I told you people that both are very effective, because even sleeping on abandoned buildings and in front of shops like sardine, You think social housing that will make it possible for them to be protected will not be good?
Okay.
If you do the preventive aspect in the north and they don't come, so you see, for me, these are the issues we should start thinking about. So sometimes the politicians raise their expectations and they have difficulty in managing them when they come. It is not just about this guy.
Cogent thoughts there that you've shared. I want to pose this question to all three of you based on something that has been sent to us on our Facebook live stream. And I just want you to react to it briefly. But I'll start with Hadi Yakubu. And Hadi, this is the message. It rubs us, the media. He says, such hogwash. He used a word I can't use on air. Ghana's media is becoming unbelievable. And I hear we've lost Hadi, so I'll address it to Doc instead. Ghana's media is becoming unbelievable. Ghana is 65, not 500 years old. Of common things Ghana has that you think are unnecessary. Our leaders are not our only problem. We are very much part of the problem. How do you address this from two angles? Do we need to be 500 years old, like some of the Western democracies, before we can say we are delivering the goods of democracy? And secondly, how much are we, ordinary citizens, a part of the problem? Doc.
Are in a position to copy from them and so avoid the mistakes that they made. You know,
Albert Einstein
advises, you know, among other things, and also our own cultural tradition. Our own cultural tradition, you know, advises us. We don't necessarily need to commit mistakes that the elderly people committed. We need to take advantage of their experiences and avoid those mistakes and make progress faster than they made. And then two, the role of the ordinary person, you know, to me, and if somebody challenges me on that ground, I might agree. But I'm saying that the choices we make when we go into election matters. The choices we make when we go into elections matters. And so we should be mindful of the people we put up. You know, we seem to install a person. You know, they'll go into the background of the individual, and society might have encountered that person. And so people could bring charges and through that simply disqualify that person. I think we should be guided by some of these things for especially voting for who becomes the president of this country. Our choices matter, and that is the role we play, you know, and I don't think we have.
Yes, yes, I think specifically the media has a role to play, and it's not just because I'm on your platform, that's what I'm saying. I think Joy FM and all your affiliate have shown the way, and very discerning people will always want to listen to media houses. But we have people who was on the show. He talked about the role of politicians owning media houses, and particularly FM stations and whatever it is. So it is actually making the media to polarize the issues, and even when something is good, it is packaged in such a way that it becomes too partisan. When something is bad, it's packaged in such a way that, I mean, you know, I know there are some media houses I don't listen to. I don't even have the time because it irritates them. And let me link it even to the creative art. Even the cleanse our morality even in the society, and more importantly, bringing everybody on board. Someone have ever said that you can use the creative industry, be it music, to cleanse the moral fiber of the society. And in the same way, you can use music and the creative art to corrupt the moral fiber of the society. Great resource. To what extent can we harness this resource to carry everybody along when it comes to issues of this project called Ghana?
Okay. So, gentlemen, as we wrap on this conversation, I'll give you 40 seconds each, and then we shall call it a conversation. What is the way forward? How do we get better in this Fourth Republic in the coming years? 40 seconds each. I'll come to you first, Mr. Derry.
Can you repeat the question? Sorry, I will be very brief. I think that we can get better if we get everybody on board. For example, religious institutions. they constitute a huge resource that we can take advantage of. Someone said that one thing Ghanaians have, which we are not taking advantage of, is the religious institution. He said if you go to every community, you will always see a religious institution, be it a church or a mosque. To what extent are we mobilizing? To what extent are we engaging the pastors? To what extent are the religious institutions put our differences away and then embark on this project called Ghana?
All right.
And then the training institutions, particularly the universities, and now a lot of them, because of the quest to get income, IGF, they are veering into programs and the courses that are not part and parcel of their core mandate and even what they were originally set in to do. But it's just because of the IGF.
30 seconds.
One, we need to find a way to sustain our Fourth Republic. At least it has given us a platform to engage the system and to be able to challenge some of their actions and inactions. So we need to find a way to sustain it. And then two, we need to find a way to address the issue Dr. Atta Kennedy put out, the bread and butter issue. Right. We need to find a way to make our Fourth Republic work to produce that bread and butter. And to me, one way of achieving that is to also find a way.
Very quickly on that.
The focus should be on the. Sorry?
I'm saying very quickly on that point, please.
Yeah, the focus should be on the politicians because members of the general public whose names come out in the Auditor General's report don't themselves decide not to be held accountable. Somebody.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kwesi Amachi-Boateng, political scientist at the KNUST. We also had Alexis Derry, who is with the Center for Development Initiatives, as well as Hadi Yakubu, Fighter General with the Economic Fighters League. Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. When we return after the break, we delve into the MPP's polling station Wahala, infighting people of those issues as we host Evans Nimako, who actually is the MPP's Director of Research and Elections. All of that up next on the AM Show. North constituency, as far as polling station executives are concerned, Regional Chairperson Mr. Buesiako, also known as Chairman Wuntumi, has purchased 1,000 forms for the incumbents, leaving the prospective ones to fend for themselves. Myriad issues saying that they will prevent the party's electoral committee from conducting the polling station elections come Sunday. What are the dynamics? We are joined by Erastus Asaridonko, my colleague with Love 99.5 FM. Erastus, good morning. Of today, when it comes to the Manhyia North constituency and what is happening in terms of these polling station forms and the election ahead of Sunday.
So I must say that the confusion started way before the availability of nomination forms for everybody who wanted to contest. And you know that there is this struggle because this election form the album or the delegate list for future elections. And so the people who are in their camp to also be part of the album's list. And so there is quite a huge interest in these elections. So if you look at the figures, 1,400 people picked up nominations finally. And this was after a lot of fight and a lot of, disturbances, chaos, before the executives disqualified 45 people from this list. And there are people who think that is because of the former MP, they are loyal to the former Manhyia to go on until these people have been admitted and allowed to exercise their franchise, because they feel that they cannot be disqualified on what they claim were petty and flimsy excuses, that their signatures were fake and that they did not hold a proper party credentials And so that is what has created something as done. Fairness has been achieved. They carried on with their threat yesterday. In all the areas that the elections were supposed to happen, they came in there and disrupted the elections. And so none of these polling station elections took place in Manhyia North yesterday. And that is the update.
And so they keep as the party reacted.
In fact, yes, they carried out with their threats, and it was as real as they said it. Yesterday, a number of them marched up at the various areas, the centers where these elections were supposed to be held. And you could see the videos that we sent. They stepping in, causing chaos for the supposed elections to end. Executives have been reluctant to speak to us on what they intend to do about this whole thing. We have tried to reach a number of them. They wouldn't come to us to explain how they intend to go forward with this, with the threats that are coming in and people disrupting.
Sorry, Donko, for bringing us the scoop there. We're also joined by Alhaji Mumuni Castro, the Manhyia North constituency youth organizer. He joins us on this discussion as well. What is happening in Manhyia North? We've been told it's chaotic, and some of your party members prevented yesterday the elections from being...
Good morning to your cherished listeners. What actually happened is nothing new to the people of Ghana as well as Manhyia North constituency. If you call, it all happened during the picking of nomination. Decided to deliberately refuse about 685 people nomination forms. They were refused. And when the issue came to light and they decided to resist that move fiercely, it resulted in a fisticuff between the elections committee and the teaming contest elections.
Let me ask you a very pointed question. We don't have too much time. We don't have too much time. But let me ask you a very pointed question. All of this could have been prevented if the right things had been done with the forms and with paying for some. Do you think these are the things that have resulted in the problems? We've had people just to get forms having their clothes torn and all of that. Could you not have prevented all of this?
Yeah, my brother, when you allow someone to pick nominations, go through a vetting process, and later they were expecting the vetting results to come out that they were going to be elections in only 3 out of 137 polling stations. And it means that all the remaining 134 polling stations are going uncontested, as issued by the National Council to the General Secretary. If you go to the guidelines as issued by the General Secretary, it says it clearly that elections are supposed to happen in each and every polling stations in the constituency. Right. I mean, it will happen in a contested election to happen. But that did not happen in the constituency. So the youth who realized that
you were not
the
able
polling
to hold...
stations were those they were going to have elections rose up yesterday.
That's my point.
137 polling stations.
That's my point, Alhaji Mumuni. You could not conduct it yesterday in some of these places. What is the way forward? What are you going to do to rectify that situation? Briefly.
The way forward is that we are calling on the regional leadership. We are calling are not ranked by military men. MPP polling station elections are not run by policemen. Even those who came yesterday to conduct elections, they are not members of the elections committee. A member of the constituency is not a member of the elections committee. But they were those who came around to conduct these fraudulent elections. So we are calling on the General Secretary that the youth of the party resisted fiercely to the constituency.
All right, thank you.
We are calling on them to do the right thing for the people of the Manhyia North constituency.
Thank you, Alhaji Mumuni. Let me bring in Evans Nimako, who is Director of Research and Elections with the party. Mr. Nimako, thank you so much for joining the conversation via Zoom. I just have one major question for you. There have been the simmering, tensions in Ejisu, and I played some of these the last time you spoke to me on the probe. Here we are with yesterday, this action by some of those who felt aggrieved. They did not allow elections to happen. You just heard the youth organizer in Manhyia North saying that all of that, and that you actually bear some responsibility. You should do the right thing. How do you respond? Mr. Nimako, are you with me?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Nimako, did you get the question?
your viewers. I think that really it doesn't lie in Mumuni's mouth to say that the party has no business to involve security. We've always known across constituencies, if we get indication that some of the members are really planning to impede the process, the party has every right to involve security. And so General Secretary led the committee that met with the Police High Command to ensure that we organize. Some members decided to hold press conference to threaten the process. Then the party has every right to involve the police and the military. The process that were given out to the elections committee was not to be that difficult at all. Organize the elections, but where people intentionally organize, frustrate and stampede the process, then we allow the security to pass against the laid down procedures. Will be
to involve the military and the police in subsequent elections.
You will
involve them.
I think I was explicit. I said that where people intentionally plan to disrupt our internal elections in other constituencies, did you see police or military going in there? And do you want us to sit for people to be hurt? You same people will then come back to us that the party sat and allowed people to be maimed and hurt. Is that the way to go? It has been put in place and they are working. If you disagree with any of their actions,
okay,
directives are simple. Use internal arrangements, appeal to the regional secretariat, appeal to the national, and you be heard. As we speak, tomorrow, the General Secretary has invited a Kontombra constituency, Oda constituency, a Krupon constituency. Are they not party members? Okay. Where people are agreed, we said use party.
Mr. Nimako,
the party will not countenance such attitude from anybody. But please, before you leave or I end this conversation,
very briefly, some 30 seconds,
I'll
please. Please.
Right. Your colleague Erastus, when he's reporting on our internal arrangement, must be balanced. Who said party people are not ready to respond to you?
Get a response and
to speak to you,
and you don't respond to him. That is the communication that you party people were not willing to speak to him. How else did you want him to put it?
You have me. It's no news.
Okay. I think
there are committee members working. You expect them to stop and come and engage you.
Okay. Thank you, NPP. We take a break, and when we return, we have our final package for you. Do stay. Well, it's the Sales Leadership Convention 2022. It's a gathering of sales representatives across Ghana. The aim is to equip them to gain more discussion. Jemima Abavon, Managing Director, Sales Hub Limited. Jemima, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
First of all, tell us about Sales Hub. What is it?
Okay, Sales Hub is a sales company organized that is into services of sales training, sales consults, companies, sales reps to equip them in revenue generation through the selling process so that they will be capable to exhibit the objective of their company. When it comes to our consulting, we walk through the buyer process of the company, what to do to achieve what they are looking for.
I see you are having a sales training coming up. Tell us a bit about that.
Sales Leadership Convention was started in 2018. And from 2018, we've been organizing top-notch facilitators coming on to teach sales representatives for the Sales Leadership Convention. Every year, we have a topic that we discuss. So we go through the year to know what is the trend that sales leaders train people on that.
So what is that theme this year?
This year we are looking at communication.
Communication.
Yes.
Wow.
You will agree that in our form of sales communication, 90% of the communication is non-verbal. But people know it's about how you communicate to the other person for the person to understand what you're talking about.
So you spoke about the fact that every March you do this and you have different facilitators that you've had over the years. Who are the facilitators this year?
Yes, I'll first of all thank our previous facilitators that has made this successful training. This year we have our trainees that have been coming consistently also have view of what the other side of the world thinks of sales. So we are having GDCP, who is the communication and head of marketing for EcoBank Nigeria.
Okay.
We hosted GD last year, and I must say I am very confident that he has a lot to teach the sales industry. The second person is Ahmed Ahmad, a very popular sales trainer in South Africa, and then a communication strategist. They are all coming into Ghana. The last person you would like to meet is the one lady who is doing so great in the sales leadership, the sales industry in Ghana, who is Jemima Abavon. That is me.
And indeed, that is you seated right in front of me. But who and who can attend this? Is it just restricted to sales representatives? Who else can attend this event?
Our training this year is more of communication.
Right.
We organize for sales professionals. Okay, so company bring their sales reps, and it's been like they come every year. But it is also open to anyone who wants to learn communication, how to communicate to make the other person perceive what you are saying right.
Okay. Now that you've told us about the Sales Leadership Convention, and how many years now have you had this?
This is our 5th.
This is your 5th?
Yes.
Wow, back to back. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Any other information you have to share with our viewers, those who are trying to connect as far as this convention is concerned?
Yes, we are having the Sales Leadership Convention on the 24th and 25th of March. That is a Thursday and a Friday. And the venue is Silver Star Towers, Airport City, from 8:30 to 4 p.m. each day.
Right.
Yes, and you can find information about us on www.saleshubghana.com or call...
Can you do that again? www.saleshubghana.com.
You'll find all the information there. And then also you can call for registration on 054-6052-571.
Can you slow down on that so that people can...
054-6052-571.
Okay. Is that the only number that you can call?
Yes.
Okay. So Sales Hub, let's do the online one again. Sales Hub?
Yes, Sales Hub. Our website is www.saleshubghana.com.
Saleshubghana.com. Well, refreshing knowing that when it comes to sales leadership, you are leading the way. Jemima Abavon, thank you for joining the conversation. And she, of course, is with Sales Hub. You make it a point to partake in that event. Thursday the 24th, Friday the 25th of the month. Well, this is how we say goodbye to you for another day. It's been a holiday edition of the AM Show with me, Benjamin Akakpo, and it's always a pleasure to do so. Do have a wonderful holiday. Let's connect again tomorrow.